Hello friends, recently I started journaling through Psalm 145, which is just full of praise and worship, and I'm preparing for a gratitude little breakout and retreat at the Mercy Center in Auburn, California, November 15th, 2025, in case you want to join us. But anyway, I decorated it first with my title page, and then I started it off with a quote from Revelation 19:10. Says, "Then I fell down at his feet to worship him." That's an angel. "But he said, 'No, don't worship me. I'm a servant of God just like you and your brothers and sisters who testify about their faith in Jesus. Worship only God, for the essence of prophecy is to give a clear witness for Jesus.'" And with that, I started with verses 1 and 2 of Psalm 145. "I will exalt you, my God and King. I will praise your name forever and ever. Every day I will praise you and extol your name forever and ever." And I went with a flower theme through my journaling so far. Next verse, "Great is the Lord and most worthy of praise. His greatness no one can fathom." And this was a fun one with hydrangea looking flowers and a little vine here. "Let each generation tell its children of your mighty acts. Let them proclaim your power." Oh, the power of bringing our children up in the word of the Lord and in the traditions of worship and praise and prayer. Next, verses 5 and 6. "I will meditate on your majestic, glorious splendor and your wonderful miracles. Your awe-inspiring deeds will be on every tongue. I will proclaim your greatness." A lot of whimsical flowers there. Verse 7, "Everyone will share the story of your wonderful goodness. They will sing with joy about your righteousness. The Lord is merciful and compassionate, slow to get angry, and filled with unfailing love. The Lord is good to everyone. He showers compassion on all of his creation." I haven't finished this one. I wrote out the words, but I'm still going to do some decorating at some point. "All your works praise you, Lord. Your faithful people extol you. They tell of the glory of your kingdom and speak of your might, so that all people may know your mighty acts and the glorious splendor of your kingdom." And here's where I ended up. "Your kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and your dominion endures through all generations." And I want to show you my walk through this entry. Watercolor is my most common art medium, but this time I'm playing with acrylics. With watercolor, I always paint from light to dark, but with acrylics, because they're opaque, you don't see through them, they're not transparent like the watercolor, I'll put down my dark colors first and usually end with the lighter ones. This case, I wanted a dark green background, so I mixed a craft green with some dark blue to get a deeper green. My paints are pretty old and thick, but I add a little water, probably should have added more, and I've thinned them down just a tad. I also added a bit more green to get the color right once I started mixing. I used wax paper or parchment paper usually to protect the page underneath. And I'm going to brush from the middle of the page towards the edges, so hopefully I don't affect the previous pages by getting paint all over them. I'm very impressed with the quality of the pens I'm using. One is the Fumile, F-U-M-I-L-E, acrylic paint markers that I purchased on Amazon. They say they're from China. They're described as water-based pigment ink, sunproof and waterproof, and say they'll mark on anything. I'm also using Sharpie creative markers. They're water-based acrylic markers with a brush tip. They both flow really well, and they seem to be lasting a long time. Sharpies are ready to go, just remove the cap and paint, but you do need to quickly prime the other paint markers by shaking them and then pressing down on the tip until the paint starts to flow. One of my favorite things about working with acrylics is the ability to cover up any mistakes with the next layer of paint. I'm drawing the greenery, the leaves and the vines, and then continuing with my flower theme, I'll add a variety of blue flowers, leaving the center open for the words of Psalm 145:13. It reads, "Your kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and your dominion endures through all generations." Ideally, I'll create the background first, and each subsequent layer will be closer to the top of the finished image, but I'm creating as I go. So sometimes I sneak something else in the background that I think it needs and have to paint around what I've already done. Back to the verse, and actually all of Psalm 145. I am reading C.C. Winans' book, Believe for It, and her heart for discipling from generation to generation is a major theme in her book. She cited this particular psalm and the importance of bringing our children up in the faith and mentoring future generations. At the same time, I'm working through the book of Revelation and came upon that Revelation 19:10 verse where John was so in awe of the revelation being shared with him that he fell at the feet of the angel guiding him and began worshiping him. The angel stopped him immediately and described himself as a servant of God, just like John and his brothers and sisters who testify about their faith in Jesus. So testifying, discipling as we share from generation to generation, being a witness of Jesus by what he's done and continues to do in our life, and expressing gratitude. This all leads to a life of praise and worship for our God. And this Psalm 145 expresses it so well. We can even pray these verses as a thank offering as we count our blessings. I love taking walks and observing the beauty of all the flowering plants this time of year. God's creativity is beyond incredible. I just can't even imagine the glory surrounding him. The prophet Isaiah writes, "I saw the Lord high and exalted, seated on a throne, and the train of his robe filled the temple." I love that verse. I think of Exodus 33, starting at verse 15, where Moses is pleading with God, "If your presence does not go with us, do not lead us up from here, for how then can it be known that your people and I have found favor in your sight unless you go with us? How else will we be distinguished from all the other people on the face of the earth?" So the Lord said to Moses, "I will do this very thing you have asked, for you have found favor in my sight. I know you by name." Then Moses said, "Please show me your glory." And God responds, "I will cause all my goodness to pass before you, and I will proclaim my name, the Lord, in your presence. I will have mercy on whom I have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I have compassion." But he added, "You cannot see my face, for no one can see me and live." And the Lord continued, "There's a place near me where you are to stand upon a rock, and my glory passes by. I will put you in the cleft of a rock and cover you with my hand until I have passed by. Then I will take my hand away, and you will see my back, but my face must not be seen." Wow, someday we're going to know that unspeakable glory of God. So with that, I finished up with this praise entry, adding some final details and continuing to journal through Psalm 145. I'm so grateful that God makes himself known to us each and every day through his creation and through his working in our lives, and we only need to look, stop, and give him thanks. Have a blessed day. Thank you for watching with me.